G'day, it's Travis from Perth, Western Australia. Earlier this year, back in February, the WRX Club of Western Australia hosted a tune day down in Collie. A couple of the Honda boys and myself, we went down there for some valuable seat time and with the aim to set some new personal bests. The weather was really good down there for a summer's day. It was 18 to 27 degrees Celsius and winds about 15 k's. The best weather that you can sort of hope for at the track during summer. The WRX Club hosted events attracts a variety of different cars, from the typical sort of DAC. You have fast grocery getters to rally tarmac spec built cars and classics. If you want to get involved in these WRX Club events, you can head over to wrxclubwa.com.au. It's a really good introduction from a grassroots motorsport level. So without delaying it much further with the introduction, let's get into some on-track action and the analysis of each session.
So I've just loaded up my first session. You see over here the best time was on my 7th lap, which I did a 1:24.82. Just to go through it, this is the start straight down into turn 1 and turn 2, accelerator turn 2 down towards turn 3 and 4 in the chicane, a quick squirt up into turn 5, quite a heavy sort of braking thing down to a minimum of about 75, and then accelerating up the bowling alley, I guess, up the hill. Got up to about 143 k's there, braking down, take the corner at about 82, take the couple of lefts, prep the car for the right hander and back onto the straight. This is a long straight up into the sort of chicane. Punch it up all the way down to the final corner. Slow it down to about 60 kilometers and then accelerate to finish the lap. So this is my lap that I first done in the morning, but the benefits of actually recording this data, and if you've got friends, you can actually look at their data and see how you compare. So I know Shane has done a pretty good lap here earlier in the year. So Shane's, no, that's me. I'll pull up Shane here. He's done a 1:20.43, so we can have a look at the graph, and you can see quite a big difference. So we'll just rescale some of this. Just generally faster. Well, there's a few glitches here. You can see that hasn't really accelerated properly. This one hasn't come through properly. That seems a bit odd, but geez. Most of the data's there. So Shane's just quicker through turn 1 and 2, reaches a higher speed than myself. I feel like there's a bit of data missing here. So these two lines here should probably match up, be very similar to here. More corner speed, more sort of, definitely I would say more top speed. That should be about here somewhere. At least 150, I imagine, then braking down. That looks like some GPS issues. So that should be probably a bit more here, that peak. But carrying a lot more speed through this area here. Similar sort of minimum speed, similar sort of maximum speed. I imagine, yeah, and probably a little bit quicker through the last corner. So it's based off the sensors, so sometimes the sensors may be picking up something different. That's just what they're recording. So when we do an analysis on this, we just need to sort of look at and see if the data is actually accurate. So yeah, so we've got a few things to try and improve on. A bit more corner speed through turn 1 and 2. Probably can get some more corner speed through 3 and 4. And then predominantly this section here, that's a lot of time there that we can get through. And yeah, that's probably the 3 takeaways from session 1. Let's see how we go. So this is the data from the second session. The red is session 2, the grey is the first session. So the first part, taking corners 1 and 2, a lot quicker, but we don't have as much speed coming down into turn 3, so that we're actually a little bit behind here after the first corner. So we've actually lost 8/1000ths of a second. However, we do seem to be braking a bit deeper, but wiping off a lot more speed, so we lose that advantage that we've got. But we do take a fair chunk of more speed coming up into turn 5. So a lot less minimum corner speed through there. Going up the hill, we've got a slightly better exit out of there, a little bit of improvement, and then we just overslowed the car here, a bit too hard on the brakes, lost a bit of time, maintained it through the lefts, a little bit soft in that little kinked area, but getting on the power a lot earlier and taking that long straight. We've actually gone from being 0.12 up all the way up to 0.3, so that's a good almost 0.2 of a second there that we've gained. We do lose it into the chicane, but that last final corner we do get on the power. Do we get on the power quicker? We're 4Ks quicker through it, so we do gain a bit of time there, and not much time lost really. So that's session 2, and that's how we improved by 0.3 of a second. Okay, so we've just finished our third session. Did a 1:24.32. I've marked it in the red here, and the previous runs, session 2 being the blue and session 1 being the grey. You can already see there is a lot of variance through turns 1 and 2, which will lead up to turn 3 different types of speeds. Not much consistency through turns 4 and 5. Not a lot of consistency here either, and through the chicane towards the end of the lap, there's not a lot of consistent sort of running, so there is a lot of time to be gained over the lap. So if you look down at the time variance, so a lot better through turn 1 and 2, which you can see that they do get to higher speed, and that's why we're so quick for that first portion of the lap. But we actually went quicker in the second session here, so you can see that the time delta we're actually caught up. all the way down into the braking zone. And then, but we did improve this section here. We did this sort of little bit of a blip here, where we gained a fair chunk of time. You can see just how much we did gain. But yeah, didn't quite get the best run out onto the back straight. So we've actually gone from 0.2 to a what's that, 5/10 of a second, 7/10, whatever it is. But that's pretty much the lap. So the main focus, we'll just try and get a bit more consistency. The chicane there at the back, the last straight, we can get a bit more speed out of, I imagine. Mainly just here. That's where we need to improve. So this is the fifth session. We did a 124.68. Didn't improve after the couple other previous sessions. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see why we didn't go as good. So we'll just remove the first two sessions. So it was basically the previous best and this one. The red one is the one we just went out for. So we did a pretty good job in the first corner, carrying a lot more speed through here. We may have been a little bit compromised and didn't quite get to the same top speed into that corner. So when we started braking, we were ahead by 0.05 of a second, but we overslowed the car. Lost a bit of time there. Started getting it back on the exit. We're about even in the lap time here. We slowed down. Got a pretty decent exit out of it. Running up the hill. Got to a higher top speed. Did this section really, really good. But where did we go wrong here? Where did we lose all our time? From this... Oh, no, keep going. Yeah, here we are. That's where we lost all our lap time. Very slow out that corner. And that's where we've gone from... We went from being 0.17 up to 0.17 plus 32. Oh man, that's half a second just there. Getting a bad exit, half a second. So we could have been knocking on the door of a 123. And then just doesn't look like much in it, but we lost it a bit of time. Lost it on the brakes, but got a decent exit. So we've gone from 0.53 up to the finish line. So we gained 0.1 on the exit there, but overall, a little bit disappointing in this corner here. So it'd be interesting to see in the final session we do today if we can get a decent lap in. Okay, we've just come in after the 6th run, and we just happened to manage a 123.97, so we got into the 23s and pretty happy for the day. However, there's still lots of improvement for next time I go out, so let's we'll quickly run through this data to see where we gain that time and how we can look to improve the next time we get out to Collie Long Track. So in the first corner, 1 and 2, carried a lot more speed, minimum speed through the corner, which led us up into turn 3, being somewhere in the like a tenth or so quicker before compared to previous runs. We did, you can see this red dip over here. We did overslow the car a bit, so we had the other. That's where the other laps gained some more time, but we got quite a decent run out of it, so it wasn't too bad. We actually peaked at a higher speed. Looks like we braked a little bit later, and because of that, we've actually gained some time. And it must have been a pretty decent exit because we didn't actually lose any time really at all going up the hill. Maybe just cooler weather or whatever, being towards the end of the day, but we took that corner pretty bloody well. Just going through turns 3 and 4, we lost the time, but we gained it back in turn 5. Into the braking zone, you can see at here a lot more higher minimum speed, at a higher maximum speed, a lot more speed through the little kink onto the back straight. You can see this green one, we seem to manage a lot more minimum speed and kept it going down the straight. So if we could have matched this green lap, you can see that we were 0.6 down. By the time we get to the down brake into the chicane, we've clawed back 0.2 of a second, so still always more room for improvement there. Down to the chicane, they've actually caught back up, but it looks like we've actually had a pretty decent exit on the last corner. So that's how we got our 123. What do you think our predictive time will be next?